welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, I need something. Alright, now we're ready. Also, big side note before we kick this video off, I did want to let you guys know that the developers announced that they are working on a way to make the Steam version of the game and the Epic version of the game actually cross-compatible with each other so that Steam users and Epic users will eventually, hopefully, be able to play together in cross-platform if they can get it working. So that is a big deal. Now, even though they've said that they are currently prioritizing crossplay between EGS and Steam, that also kind of leaves the door wide open for not only interpretation of that statement, but maybe even like potential for actual multi-system crossplay in the future, which would be absolutely incredible. And if they could make that happen, it would be genuinely mind-blowing for SnowRunner to go full crossplay. Now, of course, we are back out here in the Amur Oblast region in our International HX as our support truck, which is absolutely incredible, by the way. Tons of torque, really fast, even with the off-road gearbox, so definitely check this thing out. It's also a free truck, so you can really use it in any scenario you want, literally for nothing. So I definitely recommend giving this thing a go. Now, Phase 5 or Season 5 is going to be Build and Dispatch. Season 6 or Phase 6 is going to be Haul and Hustle. Season 7 is going to be Complete and Conquer. And then Season 8 is going to be another new expansion. Now, there are a lot of reasons why this is very, very interesting. But if the normal formula is to be believed, based on the fact of the location of Phase 4, Phase 5 should be a return to North America. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of different things that we could speculate about in terms of where it could be based, but right off the bat, I would love to hear y'all's opinion in the comment section down below on where you think Phase 5 or Season 5, I'm just going to call it Phase 5 for the sake of simplicity, but where you think Phase 5 should go. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is, once again, the Year 2 Pass. Now, there were a lot of people that I saw kind of going back and forth on whether they thought the Year 2 Pass was worth it. Now, personally, I went ahead and picked up the Year 2 Pass right off the bat. I completely messed that up, by the way. Should have been a lot more careful on that. But like I said before, I went ahead and picked up the Year 2 Pass right off the bat because I, of course, wanted to make sure that we would be able to just run every single one of these DLCs right when they launch. Now, in my personal opinion, I definitely think that the Year 2 Pass is worth it, especially after everything that we've seen so far from, not only from the developers, but really what they've been able to do in terms of all the content that they've provided post-launch for SnowRunner. Because think about it, there has been so much post-launch support for this game that I really cannot think of a game right off the top of my head that, at least in this particular game category, that has gotten this level of post-launch support. The amount of post-launch support that this game has gotten is so incredibly tremendous that I would love to continue to support the continued post-release content that they can hopefully continue to bring for us, and I'm sure that they plan to bring for us in the form of the entirety of the Year 2 content. Now, one of the other things that I found to be very interesting was the fact that Season 8 or Phase 8 is going to be another expansion, just like Phase 4 was, that will add a bunch of new elements, a bunch of new gameplay dynamics, and a bunch of new, of course, vehicles and locations to the game. But the one that I want to focus on in particular is definitely the 5th phase, because the 5th phase is going to be what's sort of on our horizon now, and what we're looking towards seeing in the public test server, and what we're going to be looking for information about in the near future. Now, I seem to have gotten high-centered on a rock on my way to town here, but let's try to, like, not have that ruin our little trek down to the town area here. But you can kind of attempt to cross over the ice, but in my little international, I don't think that that's going to be the best idea. But I wanted to go ahead and equip this thing with a full service body, just so, like, in the instance that we find something that needs help, we can go ahead and help it out real quick. Now, back to Phase 5. Now, once again, if the normal formula is to be believed, we should be returning to North America in the 5th phase. And if we do return to North America, I would love to see something sort of based within, you know, maybe the western U.S. I'm not sure if they would revisit the Yukon region. It would be interesting if they did, but I'm pretty sure that they would do a totally new location entirely, just like they did with Wisconsin and other areas like that. Now, every location obviously provides its own sense of challenge and its own unique challenging scenarios, right? Now, every new location has to have its own certain set of unique challenges, and the 5th phase is going to be no different. So, with that in mind, I'm definitely trying to imagine where it would be based, coming from the standpoint of, you know, what different places have their own unique and challenging features. Now, certain places out west do have sand to deal with, and sand is definitely its own animal. It's its own challenge, it's its own separate beast entirely. And I think a sand-based region would definitely be interesting to see, especially if it's combined with like mud and rain and maybe even some snow in some higher elevated areas. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But also, as we roam around Phase 4, by the way, don't let this at all take away from Phase 4. Phase 4 is incredible. Phase 4 is something that you should absolutely devote your time to playing through. I just think that it's also worth bringing up the conversation about what Phase 5 could be and what Phase 5 could bring, because I know there is a certain part of the community that also isn't particularly a fan of snow-based gameplay. Now, I personally go back and forth. I really do enjoy the snow, but I also really do enjoy the mud-based maps, and I think, you know, finding a happy medium between the two is a really important thing. And I know that for me, when I get a little bit tired of the snow, I just go back and play, you know, I play the Phase 3 maps for a while, and then I come back into Phase 4, and I find myself being kind of refreshed and ready to take on the snow again, because the snow can definitely get to you after a while, because you're like, oh my god, I'm so frustrated with this, all of my trucks are sinking, everything is like stuck, everything is either falling through the ice or stuck or rolled over somewhere, and you just kind of have to take like a mental break from the stresses of the snow. But once again, you can just go back and chill in another region for a little while, you know, wrap up a couple of tasks that you may have not finished yet, and then come back to Phase 4 and come back to the snow and see, you know, see if you can see it from some slightly different perspectives. Now, once again, ooh, I remember this task. Yeah, this task you have to bring, planks. Yeah, that's definitely going to be one that we will do in the future, because right now I'm definitely trying to use my international as a little bit of a scout, little bit of a support scout, if you would say that. So the idea of using this thing as a support-based scout is pretty much based around the idea that I almost feel like you don't necessarily have to use a tiny little truck if you want to scout, because that's solely because of the fact of, like, if you have something you need to rescue out in the wilderness, you've already got the strength to do it, you've already got the repair ports, you've already got the fuel, and if you end up messing yourself up, you've got plenty of repair points that you can use to go ahead and take care of that. Now, looking ahead in time, obviously there are a lot of different areas that SnowRunner could visit. There are a lot of different maps that it could go to, and there are a lot of different regions that it could go to. And I'm just incredibly surprised that they already, you know, released the titles of the next 4 phases already. That's huge. They just released the 4th phase, and they've given us the titles for, like, the next 4 phases, the entire following year of DLC content. Like, that is something that most games would keep under wraps for so long. And, you know, looking at it from that perspective as well, it's extremely exciting. It's definitely something that I am personally so incredibly hyped about. Now, let's see. Would there be a way to maybe sneak across that river down there? I don't know. But it'd sure be fun to find out, wouldn't it? Come on, bud. The only thing about this setup that I've never really liked is the fact that the back of the support add-on can get caught, and it'll pull your truck downwards. It really will. Now, let's see if... that looks flat enough. What do you say? I say don't worry about it. Easy. There you go. Come on. Come on. Oop, move it. Move it. Yes, there you go. Come on. Oh, we'll be through here just fine. In no time at all. Don't worry about it. Right, Beans? Right. Ain't that right? Yeah, he says it's right. All right. Off we go. Found the bypass. The bypass goes right down to the ice. And thankfully, that ice is solid. You can tell by, like, when it's really, really blue like that. Super solid. Don't need to worry about it. Just freaking send it. Now, if there are any ice bridges down here, I would love if they would make themselves known immediately. And it actually... Oh! Oh, slow down. That could become an issue real quick. If you run into those ice chunks going too fast, yeah, you'll damage a lot of stuff in no time at all. But if you go over the ice chunks slowly, unless you run into a physics glitch, you'll be fine. I mean, really, with just about any truck, too, you'll be fine. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be sneaking our way across that anytime soon, but it was definitely worth coming down here just to see. And it also gave me some nice driving time and experience with the new International HX, and it's definitely a truck that I will be using in the future, solely because of the fact that it's got some really good torque. I mean, the torque of this thing really does, like, get it up and moving. Oh, that is so enticing right there. If you had enough speed. If you had enough speed. If you had enough speed, you could do some really dumb things and make them work. I have an idea. I have a theory. It's probably a really bad one. And I might regret what happens in about 30 seconds, but it's gonna be fine, and I mean, we're not in the process of a contract, so I think it's gonna be A-okay, even if we have to rescue back to the garage. So, y'all ready? Oh boy. 3, 2, 1, go! There's third. There's fourth. Gonna get some damage. Oh no! Bounced right off of it. Can I get out? Oh my god, I can get out. I can get out. I just wanted to see if that would work. And honestly, I feel like if we had slightly bigger tires, it might have worked. But let me know all of your thoughts and opinions on the remaining 4 phases and the Year 2 pass in the comment section down below. Would love to know any and all of your thoughts and opinions, especially where you think they could be based on the names that I listed in the beginning of the video. I am super excited to see where this series goes from here, and I will, of course, be enjoying it with you guys every step of the way. So once again, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.